Hello everyone, Michael Williams, independent candidate for the Runcorn and Helsby by-election, looking at another election leaflet, and my goodness, today have we got a good one. I'll be quick because there's a lot to get through. So, coming out from Reform. First thing to notice is that this double-sided A5 leaflet contains a total of 83 words. 83 words, not including this little imprint here. I've never seen one that contains so little detail. And among those 83 words, two words that don't appear are Runcorn or Helsby, which I think is quite interesting. It kind of supports my idea that most of the big parties really couldn't care less about Runcorn and Helsby. They really just want this as an excuse to push their national agenda. So, fair enough. First of all, Reform will fix our NHS, protect, always reduce waiting lists. They offered no detail as to what they would do, and it's sort of interesting because, I don't know a political party that wouldn't do these. I mean, no political party is saying, we will charge for the NHS, we will increase waiting lists. It feels like there needs to be something said about how and why they do it, and especially how one MP for Runcorn and Helsby is going to have the ultimate power to overcome a UK Labour majority in order to get these things done. Because they won't, because that's not within the power of a single MP. But that doesn't matter because they're talking about national headlines. Now, this is all about some stuff which has come out recently, largely put out by Labour, about comments that have been made by Nigel Farage in the past about how the NHS basically should move to an insurance-based system. So this is probably a reaction to what's happened in the last couple of weeks. So it's quite flexible and fleet of foot of them to have come out with this. But it's not going to have been something that they'll have planned at the beginning of the election. Now, this number down here, I've seen this a few times, is 7.2 million. Over the last decade, 7.2 million born outside the UK have registered with a GP. Now, first of all, I know it's a thing, it's a small thing, but there's 83 words here. They could have stretched to 84 and used the word people, couldn't they? Over the past decade, 7.2 million people born outside the UK have registered with a GP. Would that have broken the bank to have acknowledged that these people are human? Anyway. Now, the implication here is that, the NHS is broken because there are too many people from outside who have registered with the GP. Okay. If you look at the numbers, over the past 10 years, the number of people registered with the GP has only gone up by 6.8 million. Now, that doesn't prove this figure is wrong because there's a lot of births and deaths and, there could be a lot of people who were born in the UK who died or emigrated, and that number may be true. However, you'll notice they say have registered, not are registered. And the reason that's important is because 7.2 million is broadly the total number of people who have come to the UK who were born abroad in the past 10 years. It doesn't include how many of them have subsequently left. If you do that, then the total number, the maximum of this could be, if they were all registered, would be 4.4. Now, it's still a big number, but the question is, why are you putting in a number which is clearly false in something like this? And if you even accepted this number, you said, well, let's assume that of the 63.7 million people registered with the GP, 7.2 million of them were foreign born, and that somehow Reform was going to remove them, I don't know, in some way, then that would mean that GP capacity would go up by 12.7%. Let's call it 13 for the sake of argument. But unfortunately, that 7.2 million people includes 16,000 GPs. 16,000 of those people are now working as GPs. And if you also took them out, then GP capacity would go down by 40%. Not 14, 40%. So I don't know how they can say that this has broken the NHS, when quite frankly, it's the only thing that's keeping it going. And that's data which is supported by people such as the Oxford Migration Observatory, who say that the NHS would struggle to survive if it wasn't for immigration. Now, I'm not saying that immigration isn't an issue in the country. I'd say in certain places it's a significant issue. But in Runcorn and Helsby, a total of 4,622 people currently live in the constituency who were born in another country. So that's not the 10 years here, that's the total number who live here, right? That's less than 5%. So if there is a problem with the NHS in this area, if there's a strain on our public services, it isn't caused by immigration. It's caused by a fundamental underinvestment in our national assets. Okay? And the fact that Reform, who are, trying to be the MP of some constituency somewhere, they haven't even bothered to put it on, are going with the national thing rather than actually trying to fix the NHS locally by addressing some of the issues locally, it kind of tells you everything you need to know. Anyway, sorry about that. I got a bit animated there. But that's it for now. I'll be doing another leaflet tomorrow, and if you see any more in the intervening period, then please send them to me and I will have a look. Okay, bye for now.